Hello, Algebra 1 students, and welcome back to your Semester 2 final review. We're on to problem 21, which pulls directly from lessons 8.8 and 8.9. We are definitely into the middle of our factoring part of this final, which hopefully you guys feel pretty confident on. We spent a long time on factoring, and I think if you paid any sort of attention, you guys will be just fine. So as always, I'll give you two different ways to do this problem, and we'll see how you're doing. The polynomial x squared plus 11x plus 30 is factorable. One factor is x plus 6. What's the other factor? Well, this problem is actually very easy because they gave us one factor. But just a friendly reminder, what we're really trying to do here is we're trying to go through and start with the inside of the box. And my inside is x squared and 30. But the problem, as always, is that pesky 11x has to split up between these two. Now normally you'd have to do some extra steps, but let's use the given information in this problem. We know one factor is x plus 6. What does the other have to be? Well, look at the box. I think you can actually figure it out here. X times what is x squared? X times x is x squared. And even though this is a blank, 6 times what is 30? 6 times 5 is 30. So I think my other factor has to be x plus 5. We can continue to check this though, right? If you multiply out the rest of this box, x times 5 is 5x, x times 6 is 6x, and if you put these together, 5x plus 6x, doesn't that get you back to the 11x? Yeah, so we were able to find the factored form without going through all the steps. Now, if you wanted to go through the steps, you totally could, right? So starting over, you could say, I want to correctly factor x squared plus 11x plus 30. You'd say, okay, cool. Well, we'd have to split up that 11x. And so to split up the 11x, we know those two blanks will add back to equal 11x. And that cool property of our box method, these two diagonals will always multiply to equal the other two diagonals. So we're going to multiply those out, and we're going to say this has to equal 30x squared. Well, then we have to think about factors of 30. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 doesn't go in, 5 times 6. And we look at those four and think which combination will add up to make 11. Oh, it's got to be 5 and 6, right? 5x and 6x, nothing too bad. 5x, 6x. And then we figure out the outsides. We say, okay, well, x squared and 5x both have an x in common. X squared and 6x both have an x in common. Once you've found the corners, the rest are easy. X times 5 is 5x, x times 6 is 6x, and you found that your factored form is x plus 6, not a surprise since they gave that to you, times x plus 5. It is also worth mentioning that there's that invisible 1 in front of x squared, and so we didn't actually even need the box. We just had to figure out what are two numbers that multiply to make 30 and add to make 11. Those numbers were 5 and 6, and we could have gone straight to the outside with the 5 and 6. So hopefully this rings some bells. If you really want a good in-depth look at factoring, go back to lessons 8.8 and 8.9. There's lots of practice in there. If you need more practice, just let your teacher know. Super important factoring. You'll use it in geometry. You'll use it in Algebra 2. You use it in pre-calculus. You need to know it. Thanks again for tuning in, and keep finding success on that final.